commands, not commands basically. Okay, commands is a military word. So who is coordinating things, and another person is a runner. His name is, it's specifically written, it's a runner. Why? Intubation is a crass thing. Anything and everything can go wrong. You can fail some drug. Your drug can cause some heart to stop. Your patient can desaturate unexpectedly in between. You cannot see the larynx at all unexpectedly. Your Cormac lane may be 4. Okay, sometimes you confidently place a tube and you went into the esophagus. Happens. Okay, that is the reason you need to have one runner and you as a leader. So the teamwork and the team coordination is this thing. Okay, in the beginning I told, okay, I will not tell how to place this this laryngoscope. Many of you know. Okay, what we don't know, that we have to see here. That is what the studies, as I told you, our study, the Intube study, they also came to this conclusion. Okay, the complication rate is high in ICU, and the most common reason is incoordination between the team. Fine. Now this is the idealistic situation. Okay, if you have 6 people with your team, and if you have a full coordination with a full leader and follower, okay, then probably the success rate might be 99 above. It's not 100. Okay. Now second, you can ask, sir, many times we don't have the luxury of having 6 people, not even morning hour. Okay. Suppose we have 5. No, the guideline has focused that also. Okay. Now they say, suppose you have 5 people, okay, then you can like combine the responsibilities. Okay. Need to have one intubator, cricord equipment, exclusive person, drugs monitor, you give that responsibility to the second intubator. Okay, but many times we don't do it. Okay, remember this thing. You have to have one runner. Backup person is must. Okay, many times. Okay, you need. Okay, please get that. So on so forth. Okay, but at least one intubator, one cricord pressure giver. These are the 2 person who are fixed. You can add some responsibility to the person who is giving drug. Okay. Then again, runner, leader. So like putting so many things, it's a teamwork basically. I'm running out of time. Sorry, but I think nobody told they want to go. They are of course. Okay, I'll finish it. Fine. Sorry. Fine. I told it's mine. Mine is a 1.5 hour class. Okay. And I'll make sure you will sit here. So like putting everything. Okay. Suppose you have 5 members, 6 members, 4 members. Okay. How do you organize a team? How you coordinate between the team? Okay. That determines your success of intubation. Rest, putting the scope, putting the tube and other things are 10%. If you have a full team with full coordination, your job is done. Now the team leader, again, you need to have your emotion under control. Okay, of course I also lose sometimes. Okay, but as a leader, you might be the experienced person, or might be you junior and some senior person is failing to intubate. So many times it happens. Okay, now patient is desaturating. That is adrenaline rush time. Okay, so that's the reason. As a leader, you need to remain calm. You need to be very, very objective. When an intubation fails, you need to tell it's a failed intubation. Okay, there is a criteria. I'll take you to all those things. You need to shout it louder. Failed intubation. Go to plan B. That's all. It's needed. If there is nobody to tell that it is a failed intubation and you are at somebody is doing the 4th attempt, that means the patient is gone. Then, okay, this is actually the guideline. Okay, now why I told you, the thing is, during that adrenaline rush time, nobody remembers this guideline. Okay, how many among you think of the difficult airway society guideline while intubating? No one. Maybe if a pure academician is there, maybe he can tell, okay, this is step A, step B, step 3. But they have studied and they told me no one remembers and no one follows that guideline. Okay, then probably let's propose something else which everybody can follow. Okay, now even if they debated from the guideline, but guideline is guideline. Okay, for writing exam you have to tell this only. Okay, you may not follow, nobody follow, your teacher also doesn't follow, I know that thing. Okay, now, so it start with pre-oxygenation. Okay, and of course the checklist. Once your checklist is ready, your patient is prepared, your equipments are ready, your team is ready, everything, okay, all are placed strategically. Okay, now it's like a war. Okay, you are going to execute things within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Things are done is done, otherwise go out and tell no more. Okay, now the difference between success and the no more, the gap is only 2 minutes to 5 minutes. Okay, that's the reason you need to be fully prepared. Fine. Position, assess the airway, identify the cricothyroid membrane, I told you. Okay, so you don't know which patient will require a FONA. So even a normal intubation in ICU, it might be a difficult intubation or it might be a complicated intubation. You may successfully place a tube inside the trachea, but patient will die. That's a complicated intubation. You are a successful intubator, but you fail to assess the patient. Assess patient, not only the airway. Fine. Pre-oxygenate, face mask. Okay, the guideline says in ICU, patient should be pre-oxygenated with NIV or HFNC, hypronasal cannula. Now again, same. Okay, boring flow chart. Okay, I don't want to bore again. Okay, these are the some of, for completion's sake. Okay, so these are some pictures. I hope you all know these things. Then, so this is very important. Okay, so of course we cannot teach here. Okay, maybe tomorrow we will teach you how to hold the mask, how to some C, E, some maneuvers are there. Okay, so those things we will teach you tomorrow. Okay, how to hold it. Then LMA or the supraglottic airways. Okay, first generation, second generation, third generation LMAs are also there. Okay, now this is the crux of my talk. Okay, now you started intubation, laryngoscopy, fast attempt, under vision, coincide, chapter close. Failed, you try to adjust whatever you want. Okay, second attempt, success, chapter close. Failed, this is the last attempt. Okay, this is the last attempt. Okay, think like you are jumping from a 5th floor to somewhere. Okay, that's it's equivalent. Your last attempt will decide whether you will send home or you will send up. That's all. So last attempt. So you failed last attempt, stop there. Don't go for fourth. The guideline very, very clearly says you declare failed intubation. The failed intubation definition says a reasonably trained intubator, if failed to put a tube inside the trachea within 3 attempts, first, second, third, that's you declare that as a failed intubation. But many times I have seen people try 4th, 5th times. Okay, please don't do. Okay, now what we should do there? Okay, you declare there, call for help. Okay, if you have a video laryngoscope or FONA, all those things, we will go into those things. Okay, but right now you need to, you will not leave the patient there. Okay, you declare failed intubation, but do this thing. What? At least oxygenate the patient, either by second generation supraglottic airway. That means a Goodell with it's a like a IGEL or a LMA with one Riles to insertion probe. Okay, that's called a second generation supraglottic airway, or bag mask. Suppose you are successfully able to oxygenate, okay, then you can take some relaxing breath. Think, if you couldn't do that also, declare CICO, KICO, cannot intubate, cannot oxygenate. Okay, that is the dire situation. Okay, so you cannot be relaxed unless otherwise your patient is getting at least oxygenation. Okay, now, so I told you, you have to declare failed intubation. After failed intubation, try to oxygenate the patient. Okay, that's clearly the guidelines says, either with a AMBO or with supraglottic airways. If you are able to do, fine, take some time, awake the patient if possible. Many times it may not be possible. Okay, wait for expert. You have already called, they may arrive. If the expert arrives, then he may try again. Okay, here you do not try. So you declare cannot intubate, cannot oxygenate. Okay, KICO. Okay, now you will not leave there. Okay, you are in the middle of the flood. Then fine. So then what? Okay, suppose you cannot intubate and cannot oxygenate, and your expert has not arrived, okay, then what? Go for FONA, because you are not going to lose anything by doing a FONA. Front of neck airway access. Okay, now how you will do FONA unless otherwise your team is ready with FONA instruments? Unless otherwise you are ready with your assessment of FONA. That's the reason I told you every intubation in ICU should be started with the assessment of the cricothyroid membrane. You don't know in which patient you will land up in this situation. Okay, so or if the expert arrives, then go for FONA. So FONA again, so the strategy again will differ. I'll take you into the FONA, how it is different. So like now these steps, okay, there are so many studies happened, okay, why after putting so nice guidelines, giving so many lectures also, so many people die on table, okay. Now they felt it is because of the cognitive burden, okay, because nobody remembers, nobody try to remember these all these okay, cumulative things in the ICU at least, okay. So the recent one, okay, so this is the guideline basically. I don't know if some smart person will be there, he can remember all those things and execute, okay. So they came to some conclusion that's called as a vortex approach, okay. It is internationally accepted, okay. So they simplified the thing, okay. What is a vortex? You are walking, there is some hole, okay. There is a possibility you can like slip into the hole. That's nothing but a vortex. Intubation can go either smooth or you can land in some problem. That's how they give the imagination, okay. The slope is the down spiral. You failed 1, that means little down. You failed 2, little down. 3, little down. Down, 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 then you can slip completely. Then last rescue is the FONA, okay. You can see here, there is one green boundary. You are in the safe zone walking. You started falling, attempt bag mask, attempt supraglottic, attempt intubation 3 times, not more than 3. Succeeded, you are back to green zone, failed, little down, attempt other, total you have 3 attempts. Failed 3, the deeper zone is the surgical thing, okay. This is again a model to teach, model to remember, model to execute. They felt that's the human brain is tuned to, okay, be trained with lesser information, okay. If we put a lot of information, people conveniently try to forget. That is the reason they came with the conclusion. Now let's talk about the KICO, okay. Cannot intubate, cannot oxygenate. So in your ICU, you are alone. You have your some 1 or 2 colleagues. Your sister is there, okay. Now how do you execute that thing? So you do have 3 kind of equipment, okay. One is you should have to have one scalpel. Second is at least some inserting or dilating thing, that's called as bougie. You need to have one inserter, that is a tube. These are the 3 things you need to have those things in your trolley. Intubation trolley should contain these KICO instruments, okay. Those are for the FONA. Now again, FONA can be of 2 types, okay. In few patients, you can easily palpate the cricothyroid. In few other patients where the neck is short, okay, you may not. The approach will be different. Now, in the first group of patients, if you can palpate, that means the neck is long, it is easily accessible. Then what you will do? Put a transverse strap. If it is short, put a longitudinal, okay. Transverse strap, incision, okay, in 90 degree. Okay, if a patient is sleeping, then you need to put the scalpel in 90 degree, cut it transverse, okay, side to side. Then if you have some lubricant or something, bougie, whatever the thinnest instrument, you can insert that thing, okay. You can railroad one small tube, pediatric tube, 6-5 tube, whatever tube is available with you, okay. And the time should not last more than 3 to 5 minutes, okay. You have to execute it, otherwise you will lose the patient. Second, suppose your patient is not having that comfortable neck, okay. Put a it's like a transverse, longitudinal incision, okay. Then same thing, okay. You have to put some lubricant, dilate. Many times the dilator will not available. Many people use the little finger, whatever you get that time, okay. Then insert a tube. Of course, oxygenate. It's the last step. It is the last rescue maneuver you have, which will prevent your patient from dying. Now, there are so many guidelines. I don't want to bore you with this guideline. There are strong recommendations. Of course, if you Google it, you will get all those things. So all issues they have designed, they have mentioned how the trolley should be designed, the first step, second step, third step of trolley, where should the airway equipment, where should the drugs, where should the backup instruments should be kept. Everything is there. Okay, the guidelines are very, very clear. Then the drugs. Okay, there is a nice flow chart how you prepare the drugs and what you will give for which kind of patients. Then, of course, protocols for different patients that will vary slightly. So many guidelines are there. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you are expert in those guidelines. Okay, what matters is how much alert you are, how much attentive you are during the intubation, and of course in my class as well. It's over. This is the last session. Okay, so tomorrow the practical stations. Okay, so you come prepared, come reading. Okay, so many things are there to learn here. Okay, in each stations you came here, you are spending 2 days of your time. It's a vital time basically. Okay, so try to grab something, try to take something. Can they leave?